regardless of whether you're aiming for an early retirement or you're going down the route of the normal retirement age of the age of 55, 65, regardless of whatever route you're taking in terms of your retirement, you all need to know your financial independence number. So what is your financial independence number? Well, I'm going to help you figure it out by the end of this video by showing you how exactly you can actually calculate it and show you some of the studies that have been done around the subject. So let's actually start with some basics here. What is financial independence? What am I talking about when I talk about financial independence? So just to give a brief explanation of what financial independence is, this is when you reach a point where you no longer need to actually work for an income, where your investments are actually paying you enough monthly for you to be able to sustain your living without actively earning any income. So you might be getting passive income from rental properties, you might be withdrawing from your stock market investments, right? So that in a nutshell is what financial independence is. So when we talk about your financial independence number, it is then the amount of money that you need in order to be considered financially independent. Before I forget, a quick disclaimer here: your financial independence number is going to be different from the financial independence number of your neighbor. Everyone's financial independence number is going to be unique because it is based on the lifestyle that you want to live in retirement as well as your current income. So those are the two factors that you need to keep in mind in terms of do not compare your financial independence number to the next person, because they are going to be different, because we all have different circumstances. So I thought that was really important to mention before we get into the video. So there's a lot of studies that have been done in terms of how much money you actually need for you to retire. One of the most popular studies that have been done is the Trinity study. This is the study that the FIRE movement, most of the FIRE movement people are actually basing their retirement strategies on, right? So the Trinity study basically found that by withdrawing 4% a year from your investment portfolio, you would be able to live off of your investments without depleting your capital, without any touching your capital for the rest of your life. So that is the Trinity study. Some notes from that study that I think are worth noting here is that while they were doing this research, they played around with different ratios of stocks to bonds. They also actually took the period of 1925 to 1997. So obviously there are some criticisms of the study that you might want to actually check out. So I'm going to link you in the description below to an article that explains the Trinity study well as the Trinity study itself if you want to read it for yourself. So that is the one study that has been done. So if you're basing your retirement number or your financial independence number on the Trinity study, then you need 25 times your annual expenses invested in order for you to actually be able to live off of the interest from those investments without depleting your portfolio. So that is one way to figure out your financial independence number. Take your annual expenses, the annual expenses that you expect in retirement, and multiply that by 25, and that is the amount of money that you should be trying to invest before you actually get to retire. And the second study that I want to mention here, the Retirement Now study. This is a more recent one compared to the Trinity study, and with that one they actually did also the same kind of method in terms of going through various ratios of stocks to bonds just to figure out what ratios work. They gave more detail in their report than the Trinity study. So if you really want to look at the numbers and understand exactly how they were finding those calculations, it's explained really, really well, and I'm also going to link that one in the description below. In summary, they found that with a drawdown rate of 3.25%, you'd be able to actually live off of your portfolio for the rest of your life. And they actually specifically gave the stock to bond ratio of 75 to 25. If you're going to base the calculation of your financial independence number on the Early Retirement Now study, then you are looking at 28 to 35 times your annual expenses in order to actually make those percentages make sense as explained in that study. So I'm going to link both studies in the description below. So those are the two main methods of figuring out what your financial independence number is. Be sure to do a lot more research into those two studies so you can understand exactly how they're broken down, so that when you you decide on what study do you actually want to base your financial future on, then you will have a better understanding and more confident about the decision you end up making. Hope that helps you figure out your financial independence number and maybe even pushes you to actually start getting into that whole financial independence movement with me, because you guys know I'm also on the path to financial independence, early retirement to be specific. So join me, it's fun, it's fun. I really hope that you found value in this, and if this was your very first time here, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed the content, leave a comment down below with any of your thoughts and any content that you might want to see. I'll be very interested to hear from you. But until I see you on my next video, bye for now.